In the headlines, despite paying extortion fee, farmers in Niger continue to face attacks. Katsina grain plantations destroyed as strange worms storm farmlands. Fire razed down Christ Embassy headquarters in Lagos. Away from Nigeria, dozens killed in Israeli strikes across northern Gaza. Good afternoon and welcome to the news update on Trust Television. At this hour, I am Aisha Salihu. Thank you for joining us, and now the news in detail. Farming communities bedeviled by bandits and terrorist attacks in Shiroro, Munya and Rafi local government areas of Niger State are paying millions of naira as dialogue fee to terrorists to enable them access their farms. According to farmers, despite the millions of naira they had been paying since the beginning of this farming season, attacks had continued. It was gathered that before the attacks, the communities produced maize, millet, sorghum, soybean, yam and cocoyam in commercial quantities, attracting buyers from as far as Lagos, the eastern part of the country, and the Republic of Niger. The president of LACMA Youth Forum, Babangida Zaharuddin Kudodo, confirmed that victims pay dialogue fee amounting to millions to be allowed to cultivate lands. However, in Munya, a local government official confirmed, on condition of anonymity, that bandits called for a dialogue to allow the affected communities to go to farm, but said they do not collect any levy from the farmers. He said one of the conditions the bandits gave was that they would allow residents across the access to their farms only if the farmers give them cover whenever they are passing through the community. We now have joining us via phone Daily Trust reporter Abubakar Akote to give us more insights on this development. Thank you so much, Abubakar, for joining us on the news update.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Now, I'd like for you to quickly clarify for us. We have a source, an anonymous source from Munya local government, stating that part of the discussions during the dialogue with the bandits was that they just asked that they give them free access whenever they want to pass through their communities, and they did not necessarily take any money from them. But we're also hearing the president of LACMA Youth Forum saying that victims paid dialogue fee amounting to millions to be allowed to cultivate their lands. How could you clarify this for us?
Yesterday I was with IGPs in Kuta. The difference is that in Shiroro, the bandits collect money and dialogue fee, as they call it, to allow farmers to go to and cultivate their crops. But collecting this huge amount of money from them, they still come back to attack them. Even though they say some group would tell them that they were not the one who engaged in dialogue with them. They didn't know any group collecting such money. In Munya, what the local government officials said was that the bandits said they did not demand for money from them. But each time they are passing through the communities, communities should not raise alarm or tell the security operatives of their movement. If they will do that for them, they allow them free movement, they will not attack them and they will allow them to go to their farms.
So in a nutshell, you're saying there are different sects of bandits attacking Shiroro local government, and also for Munya, you have just confirmed that bandits are only asking for free passage whenever they are passing through their community. I'd like to hear from you, from your interaction with...
Even yesterday, I was in Kuta, which is about 80 kilometers from Mina, purposely to interact with those IDPs there, where most of them share their experiences with me, even a local desk officer, who is a government official representing government in the camp, that right now in Shiroro, there are two different groups in Shiroro. One of them kidnap people and demand for ransom. engage in monetary charges. Then the other one, the second one, does not demand for money and doesn't kidnap. They only target men. And the message, according to the desk officer, that the message they left the last time they attacked about 5 communities was that they want people to protect their communities. So which led to many of them leaving their communities now. And then the humanitarian crisis in Kuta now was buzzing because right now there are over 2,000 women and children alone in IDP camp in Kuta due to recent renewed attacks in recent time by these attackers. The recent attacks, they don't hit people and they don't demand for money. They only ask people to vote their own. Okay. Anyone they found, that's what the people they kill.
Okay, thank you so much, Abubakar Akote, for your analysis and insights on the security update in Munya local government, Shiroro, and other affected local government areas in Niger State. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
Still on security matters, the Federal Capital Territory Police Command has ordered an investigation into the alleged murder of a retired Army Brigadier General O.M. Harold Udokwe by suspected armed robbers in Abuja. The Commissioner of Police in the FCT, Benneth Igwe, gave the order in a statement issued to newsmen by the command spokeswoman, SP Ade Josephine, in Abuja on Saturday. She said the late Brigadier General was attacked at his Sunshine Homes estate by armed robbers on Saturday at about 3 a.m., resulting in his untimely demise. According to her, the CP ordered a thorough and discreet investigation to unravel the circumstances. Meanwhile, farmers in Katsina State on Saturday lamented the destruction of their grains plantations by a strange worm. Reports say the strange worm population has continued to increase in size over the past few days. Two of the affected farmers, Umar Masoi and Ahmad Labaran, said the population of worms increased over the past week, presumably due to rainfall shortage, as most farmers were concluding this year's farming season planting. They said the worms are eating up guinea corn, millet and maize plantations. To this end, farmers have resorted to spraying insecticide and praying for divine intervention. The same scenario is also being recorded in Ottawa, Bambami Dapa, Sabongida, Dabai Bayawa, Angawa and Makada villages in Batagarawa local government area of the state. Residents of Makurdi in Benue State are still counting their losses after a torrential downpour that caused flooding as well as collapse of residential houses. Jimmy Azande reports that this has become a perennial problem in some parts of the state whenever there is a heavy downpour.
Most residential areas in the state capital are not planned in a manner that enables easy flow of rainwater during heavy downpours. Hence, some devastating consequences when it rains heavily.
Many of them, their houses and their fences have actually fallen. We are calling upon the government or whoever has assigned this project to make sure that what was expected to be done is done, so that the people will actually not be affected the way it is right now. We understand that the rain that has fallen today because of what has been dumped here.
Residents here are suffering the consequence of poor urban planning that may have been avoided if the right thing was done.
I've been here for the past 15, 20 years, and this thing has been happening. The much of have been drainage here now. There always been a different things we see. This one is too heavy. We need government to come to our head and dig water by the side, this way and this way, so that the water will be taken to riverside.
And actually, it's getting worse as some fences are even down and buildings almost collapsing like this. So actually, I want to urge the contractors to hurry up and look into the case.
Observers say both the government and residents have a lot to do for the environment to avoid such disasters.
The rains haven't begun in earnest and flood has actually taken place. I would advise that people don't build on water channels, and then the government should also arise to this responsibility to ensure that before people erect structures, they follow the proper guidelines, not to avert further consequences of flood.
With NAMED prediction, it seems residents have more to worry in this year's rainy season, as heavy downpours are expected in the weeks ahead. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
To a sad development and to a developing story, an early morning fire has razed down the headquarters of the Christ Embassy Church, located in the Oregon area of Ikeja in Lagos State. Although the cause of the fire is not yet known, there was confusion as members of the church scampered for safety, with emergency responders working to put out the fire. A video of the fire shows dark cloud of thick smoke oozing out of the roof of the building, with scores of worshippers watching from afar. The police, fire service, other emergency responders, and the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority are on ground trying to put out the fire. As at press time, no official statement had been released either by the church or government agencies, including the police.
This is Christ Embassy, Oregon. As you can see, say go sound on the church. Say people don't dey inside church, sha.
Still in Lagos, the Lagos state government says the number of fatalities from the cholera outbreak in the state has risen to 35 following the last update, which reported 401 suspected cases and 15 fatalities. At the last count, the government said Lagos Island, Kosofe, and Etiosa recorded the highest numbers. But in the latest update on his Instagram handle on Saturday, the State Commissioner for Health, Akin Abayomi, said the number of confirmed cases in the nation's commercial capital is now 417. He said the situation report indicates 417 suspected cases, 35 confirmed cases, and 24 recorded deaths. On Thursday, the World Health Organization announced a spike in cholera in several regions of the world, with almost 195,000 cases and over 1,900 deaths reported in 24 countries since the start of 2024. Every year in Nigeria, thousands of students are churned out of the nation's tertiary institutions, with most of them seeking vacant positions to occupy in an almost saturated labor market. Governments, both at the federal and state levels, have repeatedly said the ratio of available jobs to fresh graduates seeking employment is so disproportionate that unless a greater chunk of graduates take to entrepreneurship, unemployment will continue to rise. In Gombe, a 33-year-old Abubakar Adamu, in line with government's position, is advocating entrepreneurship among the young graduates, warning that the era of white-collar jobs is gradually fading. Hassan Koli has more.
On a daily basis, Adamu Abubakar goes to Gombe main market, where he sells poultry for a living. He is now advocating for youths to focus on building their own businesses rather than looking for paid jobs.
Currently, agri education, BSc.
I studied agricultural education and graduated in 2018. When I came back home, I realized that getting a government job will not be easy. So I ventured into the chicken business here in Gombe main market. In fact, that was the best decision I made because it pays my bills. To me, Everyone has to use what they learn in school to distinguish themselves from those who never attended formal education. Adamu won't graduate against relying on government jobs, saying the current economic realities will not be easy for both the government and graduates. With the current economic condition, students must combine studies and skills development or start a small-scale business. This will help them sustain their lives during studies and after graduation. It is unfortunate that most of the students nowadays become liabilities after graduation, simply because they don't have any skills and have not ventured into any business enterprise. I am advising students, especially youth, to look at how to become self-employed, because from my experience, being self-employed is far better than most paid jobs.
Small-scale business
According to University World News records, 600,000 graduates are produced each academic year in Nigeria, which is worrisome as it translates to a bulging youthful, energetic and employed population with no contribution to the economic growth of the country. From Gombe, Hassan Koli, reporting for Trust TV.
This is a news update coming to you live on Trust Television. Still to come. A cultural practice gradually fading away due to generational shift. More news on return this day. Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. If you're just joining us, this is the news update on Trust Television. Now let's take a look at some of our top stories again. Despite paying extortion fee, farmers in Niger continue to face attacks. Fire razed down Christ Embassy headquarters in Lagos. Moving on to more stories. Nigeria, Ghana, and 61 other countries are some of the countries facing food poverty, a report by the United Nations Children's Fund has said. In the latest report for June 2024, the global body also listed Afghanistan, Bangladesh, China, Cote d'Ivoire, and the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Others are Ethiopia, India, Indonesia, Myanmar, Nigeria, Pakistan, the Philippines, Somalia, South Africa, Uganda, the United Republic of Tanzania, and Yemen. According to the report, 1 in 4 children is living in severe child food poverty in early childhood, amounting to 181 million children under 5 years of age. The body defined child food poverty as children's inability to access and consume a nutritious and diverse diet in early childhood. Tribal marks is an old practice in Nigeria among different tribes, clans, hamlet, or people practicing particular trade. However, the old practice is gradually disappearing due to civilization and other factors. Trust TV's Bello Musa spoke to parents and other residents who shared their view on the relevance or otherwise of tribal marks in this era. The report.
Traditionally, tribal marks are made by cutting or scaring the skin with sharp instruments. The process is mostly done during infancy or early childhood by the local barbers in the communities. The aim is to give tribal a sense of identity and belonging among people.
In ɗauki jinsi na Fulani ɗaki-ɗaki ne.
Fulanis are of different clan, family, and race, so marks in the face reveal the identity of where each Fulani come from and their clan. Even our animals used to have marks in them for identification. I did not do marks for my children because now things have changed. In the olden days, it was used for identification. I have 2 boys and 4 girls, and none of them are wearing tribal marks. Tribal marks is also used for beautification and in some cases for inoculation against childhood disease or spiritual attack. The ancient practice is, however, fast fading out. Nowadays, people see it as uncivilized practice, though it makes some people look beautiful.
Wasu abun yana musu kyau kwarai da gaske, to amma da yawa yanzu a gaskiya ana kyamar abu.
Now, many factors discourage the practice, like religion of Islam.
For now, it's no longer relevant, and the reasons why it's no longer relevant is probably due to civilizations, probably due to people tend to change those norms that we normally have, probably in the forms of identifications. Now you find out that one person can hear different languages, so you don't need a tribal mark to be able to identify where he comes from.
Local barbers used to be the traditional healer in the communities, and they also perform the cutting and scaring the skin with their knife and other sharp objects. But according to Zakaria Ismail, a local barber who inherited the practice from their parents, says tribal marks are on the verge of becoming a history. On a scale of 1 to 100, 70% of people have stopped putting tribal marks on their children. They hardly come to us for the marks. It is fast fading. As tribal marks are fast fading, wearing tattoo on skin is now replacing tribal marks among young people. Bello Musa, Trust TV News Kaduna.
Away from Nigeria, at least 42 people were killed in an Israeli attack on districts of Gaza City in the north of the Palestinian enclave on Saturday, the director of the Hamas-run government media office said. One Israeli strike on houses in Al-Shati, one of the Gaza Strip's 8 historic refugee camps, killed 24 people, while another 18 Palestinians were killed in a strike on houses in the Al-Tufa neighborhood. The Israeli military released a brief statement saying an IDF fighter jet struck 2 Hamas military infrastructure sites in the area of Gaza City, adding that more details would be released soon. Hamas did not comment on the Israeli claim to have hit its military infrastructure. It said in a statement the attacks targeted the civilian population and vowed in a statement saying the occupation and its Nazi leaders will pay the price for their violations against its people. Footage obtained by Reuters showed dozens of Palestinians rushing out to search for victims amid the destroyed houses. The footage showed wrecked homes, blasted walls, as well as debris and dust filling the street in Shati refugee camp. In sports, Nigeria's athletes have made a strong showing at the 23rd African Athletics Championships in Douala, Cameroon, securing multiple medals across various events. Sade Olatoye claimed a silver medal in the women's hammer event with a throw of 67.72 meters. Although unable to defend her title, Olatoye continues to solidify her position as one of Africa's premier hammer throwers. In the mixed 4x400 meters relay, the Nigerian quartet of Emmanuel Ojeli, Ella Onojuwevo, Dubem Nwachukwu and Patience Okon George claimed silver with a time of 3.13.72 seconds. The finish behind South Africa and ahead of Botswana. Goodness Iradia, making his international debut, secured bronze in the men's long jump final with a leap of 7.75 meters. His compatriot, Emmanuel Njoku, narrowly missed the podium, finishing fourth with 7.72 meters, as Namibia's Lionel Coetzee took gold with a jump of 7.78 meters. And with that, we've come to the end of the news update on Trust Television. Do not forget You can always follow us across all of our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs and documentary. I'm Aisha Salihu. Thank you so much for watching.